Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Coffee. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation. Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I am your host, Justin D. Morgan. And I'm feeling like streaming tonight. Mostly. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and go to who is in the chat. We have Francois saying, oh no, I'm not sleeping yet. Hi, Francois. We have SadMac356. Will Justin remember to inflate the dino? Answer, yes. Francois saying just in time. Gutbomb saying it's time. So hi, Gutbomb. We have Jesse I83D6SX says it's a stream for real. Yes, Jesse. I was feeling well enough to stream tonight. I am getting over what's probably the flu. Apparently it's going around the office. All right. Well, don't forget we have the VCF East meter. Link is in the description. I have not felt like carrying the Wheel of Regrets downstairs, so we are going to go straight on to story time. Because I got to set the stage for the item that is on my bench. So, last Tuesday, I found some parts on Facebook Marketplace. They were in Christiansburg, Virginia. So, hi to all my viewers in Christiansburg. That would be right beside Blacksburg, and Blacksburg is where Virginia Tech is, so I guess I'll hi to all my Virginia Tech viewers if there's any. Yes. Anyways, I found this lot of parts on Facebook Marketplace. I tried to see if I could have the seller wait for the weekend. He was like, well, someone else might get them first. I then finagled a way to go get them last Wednesday afternoon. Or, well, last Wednesday evening for the actual meetup. I had to leave work earlier that afternoon to make it. That was fun. I left work right after a meeting. First stop was to go to the credit union to get money out of the ATM. I punched in the numbers on the ATM and sat there waiting for the door to open. The machine acted like it was going to open the door. It was telling me, take your cash. And I now know that, well, they do eventually time out, but the door never opened, so it never gave me the cash. So, needless to say, I had to go into the credit union now to both let them know that, hey, your ATM didn't give me cash, and I need cash. So they had to, after looking to see that, yes, indeed, the ATM did debit money from my account, they had to figure out what the process was to report said case for eventual resolution, and, well, needless to say, that took 30 minutes. Also, note, I had added 1 hour of buffer time, so I had already eaten half of it just to get the money to pay for the items. Don't need to fast forward too long because, well, let's just say that before I got to the top of the mountain on Interstate 64, before you would actually go down the mountain to Waynesboro and then Stanton and then on to I-81, which happily connects through Roanoke and on to Christiansburg. Well, by the time I got to the top of that mountain, I had more than eaten all of my buffer time already that I had added to make sure that when I went through rush hour traffic in Roanoke, I would not be late for the meetup. Although I should have realized that by eating all of the time up from my buffer time, I practically assured myself now that I would not actually hit rush hour traffic in Roanoke because I actually was going through Roanoke right after rush hour traffic. because of the yeah, if the I forget what the song is that should have been playing the entire time. But anyways, I had planned a 6:30 meetup, and luckily I was only 15 minutes late. But still, and I managed to. The seller told me to give him an idea of when I'd be there, so I was able to give him an update on the way to say, hey, I'm gonna be 15 minutes late. And then I drove right back home because what am I going to do in Christiansburg at 6:45 p.m.? It was busy. Oh yeah, I hadn't been on 460 business since I went to college because I had to take because there was no bypass part of the time when I went to college. So yeah, I didn't realize how much 460 business in Christiansburg has grown. Wow, that was that was kind of stressful. Yeah, oh yeah, it was the accident. There was an like two incidents. I didn't see an accident. Any signs of an accident that was warranting the lane closures. It looked like they were just cars pulled off the side of the road. Maybe they were had cleaned up the accident. Oh yeah, and then coming back I-81, I should have known it was going to have a delightful surprise for me at some point. Coming up to the Stanton exit, the signs, the electronic signs VDOT had were saying accident mile marker 222. I was like, oh, that's nice. Luckily, I get off at exit 221, so I should be fine, right? Because it just says accident mile marker 222. It's not saying traffic's backed up for, say, 4 to 6 miles. Nope, nothing like that. It just says accident mile marker 222, right lane closed. I'm like, okay, cool. Traffic's probably flowing. No, no, I'm coming up on the exit ramp for exit 217. And luckily, I could tell that traffic was stopped just ahead of the exit, and I was able to exit off at exit 217 and take the detour through Stanton and Fishersville because, yeah, traffic had backed up like 4 to 6 miles. Yeah, thanks, VDOT, for not like putting that on your signs. Anyways, so that's why I didn't stream Thursday night. I was like tired, although it could have been the start of the flu symptoms. I could have been fatigued from not realizing I was about to have a not so fun weekend and not so fun start of this week from flu. But anyways, yeah, I didn't stream Thursday because I was just tired from my trip to get these parts, which I'm about to show you. Hi, Mega, welcome. And hi, Thomas Armstrong, welcome. And then let's see here. Saturday, not realizing I was sick because that's I had one symptom and it was not a fever. So I probably didn't realize at the time I had the flu. I was at the Toastmasters speech competition giving a speech because I didn't realize I had the flu. I thought I'd just eaten something that had disagreed with me because I don't think I ever had a fever. And if I did, it was such a low grade, I really couldn't tell. I think I had one symptom, but well, I did come in first place in the speech competition in the category I was giving a speech. So in our area, I came in first for Tall Tales, and I hopefully didn't give flu to anyone because I didn't realize I probably had it. But given that I was back at work today and someone mentioned there were several people out with the flu, I kind of think I probably had the flu because I have a feeling it's going around the office. So, yay, me. Anyways, let's see. Oh, we have Isaac McMillan. Welcome. I'd love to go to VCF Southeast. Ah, well, cool. All right. And Thomas says my daughter's cooking does that to me. Well, I mean, I went to 2 potlucks last week and then, yeah, which could have done it, but I have a feeling it was the flu, not food poisoning or something else. Anyway, so I guess without further ado, let's take a look at what I've got here. So we will okay, so I will say that this was already disassembled. Isaac says, I live in South Carolina, so the east one is too far. Yes. Yes, I would agree with you that South Carolina would be a haul to New Jersey. Uh, Out of curiosity, you on the coast of South Carolina or are you inland? Yep, Thomas Armstrong says PC ISA cards. Okay. Oh, all right. Cool. So we have an IBM floppy drive, which has seen better days. I don't know how well I will be able to repair that and it actually be usable because I believe a couple of the wires are actually cut. And I think this is quite possibly the wires for the head assembly. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of slack to begin with, and oh no, Gutpump says I'm late. So I think this floppy drive will probably serve as a faceplate swap candidate in case I get a Cume drive that has a broken faceplate or something. Because I am not sure how well I will be able to repair signal wires from the head assembly because they cut those pretty short to begin with from the factory. Yeah. Bump says, and now I see evil Justin. Mega says, time to build a new cable, I guess. Yeah, I may have to build a new cable depending on what that's going to, but unfortunately it does look like it is going to the head assembly, so that could pose challenges. Thomas Armstrong says donor cable. Unfortunately, I think it's going to the head assembly. That would make it very hard to fix. Mega says you got a DuPont crimper and such. Well, I have access to one, but I don't know that those wires are long enough to fix. I will look into it. I will not scrap the drive. However, I'm not going to hold out. I am, we'll say, less than 50% optimistic that there's enough wire there to fix. However, if I do manage to fix it, I'm pretty sure I can figure out where the wires go. It's just, the thing is, there's not a lot of slack on those wires. And I'm actually not convinced that someone hasn't already tried to repair it once. Anyways, but don't worry, I'm not going to throw the drive away, but I'm less than optimistic I can fix it. However, there's plenty of other decent things here. Yeah, unfortunately, the way they're soldered to the head assembly would make it very hard to repair. We have an IBM CGA card, which this is in decent shape. We'll test it out, see if it works. And Mega says, I love that brown and gold coloration. Yeah, it does look really nice. The famous tantalums, yes. Or as I call them, the infamous tantalums. Or the infamous tantrums. Anyways, we will give that a test. All right, we have a third-party floppy drive card. I don't know why this... I don't know why it has this. I have a guess. But it looks like someone put a third-party floppy card in there. And I'm going to presume it got pulled out of this computer because it does have the edge connector. We'll get to my theory sooner rather than later because, well, it's kind of hard to hide the package to this case. All right, we have an AST IO mini card. Unfortunately, I don't have the pin headers, and I'm going to have to try to find the pinout because one of these is serial and one of them is parallel. And I don't know what the pinout is for a 26-pin serial cable. I'm hoping the parallel is standard. And there is a real-time clock on it, too. So yeah, I think it's 1 or 2 serial, a parallel, and a real-time clock. But yeah, it's a kind of a nice little I.O. card. I mean, I can see why they might have had this in this computer. All right, and then for the PA... Oh, and then there's a power cord. I don't think this is the original power cord. I think it's just a random power cord. And now, for the pièce de résistance, we have an IBM 5150. Slightly used. And I did not take this apart. It was already apart when it was listed on Facebook Marketplace. Isaac says, I haven't seen a 5155 repair. I have every compact portable except the second one, including the 46C. Plasma screens are hard to fix. I love portable computers. I'll try to get a 5155 one day. Mega says, oh darn, yeah. Mega probably noticed the Hulk has apparently had contact with the system, because I believe this here should be, I think this metal tab should be under this metal tab. I don't know what has gone on here, but it does have a ceramic and gold math coprocessor. Isaac says, wait, I saw this one on Marketplace. Oh! Yeah, Mega says, oh, it's not in good shape. Ah! Isaac says, I actually have it saved. Yeah, this is bent up. Yeah, it's in rough shape. But Isaac probably realizes the part that you're about to see. That is why I even bothered driving to Christiansburg, which is like 100 and... Wait, okay, I did the math. It's over 150 miles from me. As you can probably tell by the drive time. All right, what am I caught on there? Someone has cut... Oh, this is going to be hard to show. Someone has cut the case there. So I don't know that I'd ever be able to put floppy drives in it because there's nowhere to screw them in on that side because someone has cut it. Which leads me to believe there might have been a hard card in this computer at some point. Because there's only, like, so many slots that you could actually put a hard card in if it was full length because of the floppy drive cage. And I'm thinking that they possibly bought a third-party floppy controller so that they could move the floppy controller over here. Because I think the IBM floppy controller is rather long and would be hard to fit it behind the floppy drives. So I'm thinking they had a hard card in this computer. Jesse says, that's not ideal. Thomas says, I would have driven that far. Yes, I'm pretty sure after I show you this item that came with it, probably anyone would have driven that far. It has the keyboard. The keyboard has all the keycaps on it. It has the cable on it. The cable is probably sticky, but, well, I can deal with that. And, of course, the real winning thing here is the WordPerfect template. I'm just kidding. Francois says, so many slots. Jesse says, I drove 182 miles one way for a system less spectacular than this. Thomas says, I shipped a 5161 from Kentucky to Canada. Oh, yes, you did. That's right. Anyway, so I now have an IBM keyboard. Hopefully it works. We'll test it. later. I have a motherboard, which I'm fairly sure is probably going to have a shorted tantalum capacitor on it. We'll check that momentarily. But, all right, I don't know what I just knocked off my bench. But anyways, we have an amber CRT in here. And I think that's just a smudge, but I mean, it looks okay. But well, I guess the only way to find out is to actually power the system up and try to use it. And if we have loud, awful loud noises, well, we know we're in trouble. Might see if I can remove this shield so I can actually inspect the CRT. I actually probably need to inspect the. Isaac says, I'm more partial to the 5155 for the amber screen. My university has a Commodore 64. I pulled out of storage and I paired it with an amber CRT. It's beautiful. Yes. I I would like to thank Tom Barber. He did send me a green CRT. And that is my backup plan. I'm trying to inspect the neck of the CRT. I'm not sure how this metal shield comes off. It honestly looks like it's riveted on. Surely IBM did not rivet the shield, but I think they did. Okay, the implosion band seems secure, so all right, we'll probably power it up and see if we get an image that way. Because at some point I'll have to figure out how you get the amber CRT out of here. Because this case, because of this damage here, is not like given how warped this frame is. I'm not going to try to put the good parts from the one Dave sent me into here. I'm going to take the good parts out of here and transplant them. Because, I mean, I could probably fix the frame, but it would be easier to transplant them. Because I'm going to have to I will have to take parts out of both no matter what I do. It's just a matter of which one becomes the base, and this one's a poor candidate for being the base. Now, I would like to open the power supply up. Not that I'm really going to be able to show you the insides of it very well. But the reason is the back of the computer is kind of dirty, and I do want to at least inspect it. It looks like I am. It looks like Comcast is being Comcast at the moment. It might be my end. My internet bandwidth went down to. Oh, yeah, it dropped there for a moment. You know, Comcast. Anyone from Comcast is watching and wondering why I rated them so low on the little survey they randomly sent me. Well, the fact that my bandwidth just randomly goes to pathetic during live streams is one reason why I rated you very low on your rating scale. Your price too, but for what I pay, my bandwidth should not drop down to like near nothing randomly. they're supposedly going to have fiber to the power co-op. I think is supposedly going to have fiber to our neighborhood sometime later this year, which is the only reason I haven't called Comcast and asked for a promotional rate to stay a customer. Well, that and CenturyLink isn't, or oh, they've got another name now. They were CenturyLink. Now they're oh, I am zoomed out as far as I can. I will try to find a way to show you what I'm seeing in the power supply. I am removing the power supply cover. Note, you should not remove the power supply cover unless you know what you're doing, because there's high voltages inside, and I do know this power supply has not been powered up for some time. It's also not a how-to, because I quite honestly have forgotten how you even get the cover off partially to inspect inside of it. Because oh, hold on. I think you got to remove screws from the bottom or something. All right, let me remove the screws from the bottom of the computer that are holding the power supply in place, which, of course, IBM used an Allen screw for my convenience. Usually, these power supplies are fine because IBM did did spec a fairly high quality power supply, but just given what this 5155 has been through, I'm going to err on the side of caution and inspect it. Given that the rear cover of the power supply is actually bent, I hope you'll humor me here, and I will try to show you what I see inside of it when I get to a point where I can try to move a camera into view. But unfortunately, I don't have a wide enough view for such a big computer. All right. Okay, I think I do have the power supply loose. Yes, SNMX says, understand that you're doing this at your own risk. All right, so I got the power supply loose, so I can pull it forward. Maybe. Oh, there we go. That'll also let me get a slightly better look at the neck of the CRT. So I do see the neck board is still glued in place. Let me. I don't know, maybe. Let me pull up Droid Cam. I think my phone battery's charged enough. I can. I think I can afford to bring up camera. Oh, oh, that's weird. Hold on. All right, well, let's try starting Droid Cam again. Oh, all right. I'm getting an error that the video is inactive. Okay. Try restarting your Wi-Fi router. Nope, not going to do that. Huh. All right. Well, maybe we're not going to be able to bring up Droid Cam after all. Hi, Dave. Welcome. Yeah, I'm checking permissions. So it has permissions for local network, microphone, camera. I am on my Wi-Fi network. All right. Well, I guess we're not going to use Droid Cam tonight because I can't get it to. Dave says, "Wow, you found an Amber CRT." Well, we are going to try to test it to see if it actually works. But first, I wanted to inspect the inside of the power supply, and it's proving to be a challenge to get it open. And unfortunately, Droid Cam is not working tonight. So, the it's like the app is not opening the camera or something. So, I haven't said how much I paid for this yet because there is the little problem of the money that the ATM did not give me that required me to withdraw money twice. And I'm not sure, is it fair to include that money in the cost of the item or not? Because, well, I can tell you this, if I do include that money in the cost of this item, I didn't get such a great deal. I mean, theoretically, my credit union should eventually figure out that the money's still in the machine. I'm kind of surprised they didn't like send me a note about what they found out already, but I did checked my account earlier today, and I don't see a credit for the money that the machine did not give me. All right, so I am looking in the power supply. Power supply looks okay. Hold on. Well, actually, I am noticing something in the power supply that. All right. Oh, okay. No, I don't think the fuse is blown. I think it's just that the fuse has a red and green stripe on it. Okay. All right. So I don't see. All right. I wish I could get Droid Cam to cooperate. I don't see any signs of damage in the power supply. So I think this power supply is probably probably safe to put the screws back in it, and we can use it to test if the CRT works. Because I'm probably, well, I'm not going to do the actual CRT swap tonight. Dave's asking, is that a Zenith CRT? I can't see, Dave. I haven't been able to see that yet because of the. Hold on. I want to put enough screws in this power supply that if I power it up and there is a fault, that the cover's on, and then I'll see if I can see the brand. I haven't been able to see far enough into it to see if I see a Zenith label or not. Ian says, my university has a Zenith Amber CRT. It has horizontal line artifacts, though. They did have a second Amber screen that's a Magnavox. Well, I know that if you've ever had one of these machines, you would know that I don't think these things were really that sharp ever. All right. I think I got enough screws on the power supply so that at least the side with the switch on it is secure. Now Dave was asking if it's a Zenith here. Yes, Dave, I see the label on the side. It is a Zenith CRT. That would be the only reason there's a label right here on the case. It says, the reason why it's there is because it's come off of the CRT. Here we go. So it is a Zenith Radio Corp model number DS9CNF1, 13 volts DC, 1.4 amps. Correspondence must include service and serial numbers below. Well, I guess I can't register this CRT on iCloud now. Everyone knows the serial number. Ian says, did you know that the Zenith made a portable computer, the Z160? I'm asking around on the VCF forum for one right now. The flip-up floppy drives look cool. I think I had heard of it. please. I just knocked my good screwdriver off the bench. Oh, there it is. All right. Crisis averted. All right. So the next thing I need to do before I even dare power this up is test for shorts. Because, well, first of all, it's still pants season here in Virginia. But second, and more importantly, the tantalum capacitors on these IBM motherboards like to make their presence known. Okay, so let's see here. That is, I think, going to be... Wow, the wires on this are really faded. I just realized. The red wires look orange, and the red wires look orange, and the orange wire looks less orange. I think this thing is set somewhere with the case off of it in the sun. All right. Let's test the... Okay, so that is... Okay, that's... Whoa! All right. Danger, danger. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's a common. Never mind. I didn't realize how far I'd gone over on the connector. All right, so... Well, Dave, it's not... well, it's not an... Well, it is a 5155, but it's not a... It's not a whole 5155. It's had some plastic surgery done to it. But yes, it did come with the keyboard. So at the moment, the cost of this computer. So the Facebook Marketplace price for the parts, which include the keyboard, this sad shape of a chassis with motherboard, the CGA card, the floppy controller, and the AST IO card, that was $175. However, still, the credit union refunds me for the money the ATM machine never gave me, and hopefully they figure it out that the machine never gave me the money, because it never did. My cost for the system's $375. Because, yeah. So, hopefully they figure that out. Probably stop. I'll probably call them tomorrow, because it's been about a week since they would have filed the case. Because, yeah, ATM never, the door never opened. So the money should have still been in the machine. And the fact is, when I told them that it malfunctioned, their first reply was, "That's odd. We just had someone working on it." Well, that seems to be about the most likely time a machine is going to do something really odd, like not give you money. So yeah, hopefully I get that resolved because actually was a there was a moment when I almost like canceled it right then and there when the machine didn't give me money. I was like, no, no, that's a mechanical malfunction of the ATM. They'll get it resolved. Just not getting resolved as fast as I would have hoped. Thomas says, I worked on bank machines when I was younger. They should have flagged an error. Well, they put in a case. They said it would take like 3 to 5 days. So it's been the amount of time that they said it would take for the case. So I was kind of expecting to see a message from them. All right, let's make sure that putting the CGA card in didn't cause any shorts. I do need to be able to read the meter. Oh, that's 227 ohms. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Okay. I didn't think the CGA card would be shorted, but you never know. Thomas says it can be slow. Some banks do not take care of their own machines. Yeah, well, I got the impression that they may not take care of their own machines, so I guess that they probably did have to call whoever services their machine. Yeah. Isaac says 320 is about how much I paid for my portable 3. It was not worth it. That plasma screen is a pain because of how damaged it is. Yeah, I was. I mean, the thing is, I was hoping to pay 175 for parts because I could see from the marketplace listing that the frame was that I was probably not going to be able to make a second 5150 out of this. All right. All right. I guess we are going to do a smoke test here. So, all right. Because I am a chicken, I am going to take cover behind my tool chest. All right. Three, two, one. Well, we didn't. Wait a minute. Um. Okay, I do not believe we had any signs of life. Oh, there would be a good reason for that. Because I forgot to flip the switch on the back of the 5155 before cowering for cover behind my safety shield and turning on the smart plug. So there we go. Now it is live. I am going to go behind my safety shield. Three, two, one. Still nothing. Oh, Thomas says the tube is glowing. Well, I didn't see any text on the screen. All right. Let's check something here. I have seen it before that you check one of these boards. There are no shorts. You attempt to power it up, and now you have a short. Okay, so that voltage rail is fine. I think that says mega ohms. Jesse says, I absolutely despise sudden, quote, movement like you, Justin. I'm with you. Yeah. Okay. The heater was working, so at least we had one thing. All right. I think that's mega ohms. I think that's mega ohms. All right. I'm going to move the meter where I can more clearly see the mega ohms indicator. Okay, so that voltage rail is in hundreds of ohms. That's fine. That's that's fine. That's mega ohms. Mega ohms. Okay. All right. So let's do this. So it does look like that we are not. We don't have a short. I'm going to plug the RGB to HDMI in because I don't know if the screen is set to the correct settings. It is quite possibly not. So, all right, let's see here. I think it's going to be HDMI 2, I believe. Thomas says the power supply is staying on the tube light. Well, I didn't see anything on the screen. Could have been the brightness and contrast were turned down. I'm all right. So the R Thomas says a Trident VGA card would be handy. I think the CGA card will work. All right. So now, because I'm even less trustful of IBM tantalums, all right, let's try this now. RGB to HDMI. 3, 2, 1. Oh, duh. All right. It does help to actually plug the motherboard power back in after you test voltages. All right. It's going to get recapped. Well, maybe I do need to go grab the Trident card. All right. It would appear as if the CGA card CGA card may not be working. I do have the cable plugged in, the connector P1, which is the 4-pin connector. All right. Card plugged in all the way? Well, let's see. I got one idea here. Let's see if I can find it. I have the diagnostic ROM. I have to remember where I put it. All right. Trying to figure out. All right. I guess probably the first thing is let me make sure all these socketed chips are actually seated. Checking the CGA card for damage. I mean, I guess I could go grab another CGA card. I guess we could also check voltages. All right, we'll check voltages here real quick. All right. Okay, so we have. Oh, well, that would. Oh, well, that would explain it. We have no. There's no voltage coming from the power supply to the motherboard. I only had a compact portable CGA card. Oh, but it's actually the power supply is not supplying voltages, so that would probably be why we're not seeing any activity at all. Not even tantalums suddenly shorting. Thomas Armstrong says shorted cap. Well, that is a distinct possibility that we now have a shorted cap. Well, if you'll remember, I checked for shorts. Well, I mean, these things do throw tantrums at the moment's notice. That's interesting. Okay, let's try something here. Yes, it has a separate power supply for the CRT. So, all right, I'm going to check the resistances on the power supply itself. All right, I don't think the power supply is shorted. Isaac says if you hook up a modern power supply, you can make the bad tantalum blow up, at least on the compact. Maybe they have similar safety features. Well, I don't want a tantalum to blow up because that makes the basement smell bad for 2 weeks. All right, I'm gonna check the. Yeah, Thomas says IBM has short circuit protection. Yes, Isaac says I saw. I think 8-bit guy do it. Well, 8-bit guy can short all the tantalums he wants. I don't want to have to spray air freshener down here because, well, A, it costs a lot, and B, it smells fake. Do I have another PC power supply? I do have another PC power supply, but we would not be able to plug the CRT into it. I mean, I could plug another power supply into this thing, but I would be unable to power the CRT. Oh, Isaac, there is no cap that's shorted at the moment. I I have I have again rechecked the the motherboard at the power connector, and there are no rails that are shorted. Although I suspect plugging in a power supply is probably going to short one. That is usually what happens on these. One shorts when you power them up. Thomas says just to test the main board. Well, I guess we'll do that. I want to double check my measurements. All right. I'm going to also check for shorts by using the pins on the ISA slots. All right. So that is going to be 5 volts. All right. I don't think that's shorted. That's going to be negative 5 volts. And negative 12 volts. And 12 volts. Okay. So there are no shorts. All right. I will plug the CGA card back in. Because theoretically the system's configured for it. All right. All right. Oh, actually, I think. Okay, I just noticed something. Let me pull the board out of the case because the case is warped enough that I can't. The CGA card was not sitting flush. All right. All right. I'll pull the board out. We'll test it with a separate power supply. Was really hoping to test the CRT tube. Oh, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if the CGA card and main board need work. I mean, that won't surprise me one bit. There's a. I'll show you the metal piece, but to get the board out of these cases, you have to remove a screw that's in a metal clip-like assembly, which to get to, you have to remove the floppy drives. So, way to go, IBM, for the ease of disassembly. And then you remove one screw that's in the corner of the board near the keyboard port, and then it should just slide out because the rest of the things holding it in are standoffs that just slide out of the case. Or at least normally just slide out, but normally the Hulk doesn't manhandle Or would that be Hulk handle? I guess it would be Hulk handle. Normally the Hulk doesn't Hulk handle an IBM 5155. But there we go. It's out. Oh, we got it out. All right. There we go. Got this out. Let me set it to the side. I guess we'll set this. Looking to see if there's any way I can easily remove the keyboard connector off the case so I can at least test the keyboard. All right. One other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to put two of the screws back into the power supply on the bottom side. Just to make sure that as I'm trying to get the keyboard connector out, I don't accidentally manage to find a way to slam it into the neck of the CRT. I don't know if the power supply is actually long enough to actually physically make contact, but I don't want to find out the hard way. Hold please while I put two screws back in it, which are not lining up that well because the case is worked. At least one of the screws. Get one screw in. That should be enough. If I get one screw in, I think I can get the second one in. All right. Got one in. Oh, that's why I couldn't get it in easily. All right. Excellent. So let me get the second screw in just to make sure. Power supply does not move forward too much. All right. Now let me see if I can get the keyboard connector out. Well, I was ideally going to plug the keyboard in, Thomas, so that I didn't get the keyboard error, but that'll require me to get the trying to push the RJ11 connector out of the case. Clips in, and I don't know why I should be afraid of this plastic breaking because not like someone hasn't already taken a Dremel to it for some unknown reason. There we go. All right. All right. I got the keyboard connector out of the case. So at least I can test the keyboard. Even if we can't test the monitor to see that it actually shows an image, we can test the keyboard. So I guess that'll be let me find my. Oh, actually, we'll use this box here. So in order to test this, I need a box to set this all on. I need the IBM motherboard, also known as a planer for certain generations. But or system board. I think they just called them system boards at this point. I think they started calling them planer with PS2. All right, we got the CGA card, we got the system board, the RGB to HDMI, which is already set to CGA mode. Okay. I will also go ahead and plug a composite cable in, just in case that there's a problem with the TTL output. All right, we have a modern power supply here. I believe this power supply does have short circuit protection. However, what I could not tell you is would its short circuit protection kick on soon enough to prevent a tantalum from going pop. That I could not tell you. All right. Okay, so we've got power supply, we got power, blacks in the middle, CGA card, composite video, the switch is on. All right. Now I'm going to go behind my blast shield. And all right. 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay, the power supply is not in short circuit protection mode. And we have a video output. Ian says maybe they're sleepy. Maybe it's just sleepy and needs a little shake to wake it up. Thomas says, you want the 301 and 601 errors, they add character. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How are we? Hold on. How are we counting this much memory? $640K of memory. Someone's modified this system board. I didn't notice it till now. The first two banks are 64K chips. The second two banks are 256K chips. Someone has modified this board. All right. Thomas Armstrong says late revision mod. Oh, maybe that explains the label that was on. There was a label on. Oh, I should have noticed. This chip isn't normally installed. There was a label on it, which fell off. Yes, if I'd realized that chip's not normally installed, I would have realized that there's a mod on the board. And yeah, I think I see the. Oh yeah, there's a trace on the board. Yeah, this jumper here, there's actually a trace on the board. And all right. So I need to take a break. So I'm going to go to be right back, and I will be back shortly. So bear with me. All right, I am back. All right, so went and grabbed my XT IDE or it's XTCF Lite from Lowtech. Got ordered from Texelec. That way we can at least boot into an operating system. Oh, hi Bruce, welcome. We have Brankus Creations in the chat. All right. I am going to, out of an abundance of caution, double check that we did not develop any shorts while the system was powered up. Unlikely. Yep. All right. We are probably still good. All right. Let's go ahead and power this up. I will back up just a little bit, but go ahead and power on. There we go. And hopefully we will... Oh, wait. I just realized. I'm going to have to plug the keyboard in. All right. Let me plug in the cable. Where did that cable end up on my... All right, where did I put the cable? Hold please while I locate the cable. Oh, there it is. So I'm going to plug the DIN 5. Oh. I'm going to plug the DIN 5 cable that is from the 5155 chassis into the motherboard. And that will let me plug the 5155 keyboard in, because it uses an RJ11 connector and not a DIN connector for the keyboard. I think it's there, and all right. Okay, I think it sees the keyboard. Oh, hi, Mike's Future Retro. Welcome. Bruce is asking, are we going to play Doom on this? I think all the tantalums would spontaneously combust if we tried. Oh, hi, Justin Howard. Welcome. Yes. All right. For those of you just joining, these are some parts I picked up in Christiansburg last Wednesday for $175, which included a IBM 5155 with some customizations, and we'll put it that way. I don't know what was up with it. And this is the system board from that 5155, but it has the CRT in it, and we believe the CRT is good. And I think I'm going to realize that I needed to skip system files. Oh, no. Ah, all right. If you're wondering about that memory manager, this card is from a computer that has a RAM card in it that adds memory in the upper memory area. I just don't have it installed here. But so this is the system board and the CGA card from that lot of parts. There was also a floppy controller and an AST IO mini card. The CRT was in the case, and it looks like that's good, but the power supply is not supplying voltage to the system board, so that's why we're testing it out of the case with a standalone power supply. and the keyboard here. So we're going to run some tests here. I think first we will test memory. This board has a late revision mod on it, so it actually has the full 640K installed on the system board. Let me see here. I need to change. And we do want to test all the memory. And I do not want to run just the quick tests. We will only put, I will only make us suffer through one pass. But that is pretty cool. In fact, actually, I might put this board in the 5155 that Dave sent me. Only because it's got the full 640K on it. So also, I guess, well, let me go to table cam so anyone that just joined is curious. Yes, the system board actually had the math coprocessor installed on it. I'd actually seen that in the Facebook Marketplace photos. And yep, it's stamped IBM. So that's pretty cool. There's also a chance I may put this system board in my XT. I haven't decided yet. Because the 5155 Dave sent me had a RAM card. But then again, I may put that RAM card in my 5160 and put this motherboard. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. This board will go in one of my two, either my 5155 or my 5160. Oh, if only because it's got the full 640K on it. So that's like, that means I won't need to add a memory card to get conventional memory. Oh, back to check it. So you can see that we are running it. This is a slow test on a 5155 because we are running at a blazing 4.77 megahertz. Trust me, those extra 0.77 megahertz make a difference. And Justin Howard says, that's so cool. Yeah, it is. The interesting thing about this system board is it looks like it has three-legged. Actually, I'm not sure those are three-legged tantalum capacitors. I probably won't know unless I turn the board over, which I can't do while it's running. Because the early system boards used three-legged capacitors, but I think the later ones, IBM they changed the layout of the where the tantalums go. I think they switched to two-legged tantalums. Thomas Armstrong might be able to confirm what that was about, because I've got a system board from IBM that it had two-legged tantalums on the system board. It was that actually was the board that Dave sent me in the 5155 that he sent me. So it had two-legged tantalums on the system board. But they were the same size as the three-legged ones. So the only way to tell which ones they are is to turn the board over and look at how many pins are coming through the board. I will recap this board and the CGA card because I don't trust the IBM tantalum capacitors. And when I recap these boards, I use 25-volt rated tantalums. I go one step up from what IBM used. IBM used 16-volt, but 16-volt for a tantalum is too close to the 12-volt rail, so I use 25-volt tantalums. Because for a solid tantalum capacitor, you really want a 100% margin, because they don't like over voltages. Thomas says Doom at 1 frame a minute. Yeah. Now, if I input fast Doom on this compact flash card, yep, 25-volt, 10 microfarad. That's what I use. Now, if I put fast Doom on this compact flash card, I think fast Doom will run on an XT. I don't know that it runs acceptably. I think it will run. I think I kind of regret misplacing my diagnostic ROM, because I think it's a little faster on the memory test. Although I think Check It might be a bit more thorough in its memory test. Jesse says you can deep fry you can deep fat fry a shirt, but should you? Yeah, exactly. I think we'll leave Fast Doom to a faster machine. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you could probably deep fat fry a lard, but again, to your point, should you? But Bruce says, tasty shirt. Yeah. I mean, I've heard of deep fried butter, so I'm pretty sure you could deep fry lard. I guess both are fat, so yeah. Jesse says, in reference to the Doom comment, yes. Justin Howard's laughing. Go to a fair and you can find just about anything deep fried. Yes, this absolutely thrilling memory test. But this is how we know that my Facebook Marketplace purchases are working. To which I think the ad did, it made no guarantees to the conditions of the parts. So I suspect that I'm going to end up taking the CRT out of the Marketplace 5155 and putting it in the one Dave sent me, and keeping the power supply that's in the one Dave sent me. And then at some point, I might open that Marketplace 5155's power supply back up and see if I can figure out what's wrong. I mean, with any old system, inevitably there's some reason why it was taken out of service. Sometimes it was taken out of service just because it was old. Sometimes it was taken out of service because it failed and it just wasn't worth fixing at that point. So it's possible the power supply failed. Yep, Thomas says so. The power supply is suspect. Yeah, I am suspecting the power supply. I mean, after all, something caused someone to somewhat violently disassemble that 5155 I bought on Marketplace. Thomas says they are pretty simple and they had weak caps. Yeah. I'm guessing. It's a guess. I'm wondering if it had a hard card in it at one point, and I'm wondering if when it failed, someone less than gingerly removed the hard card and other things they thought had data on them. I didn't see any refas in it when I inspected it, so I'm wondering if it was taken out of service because the power supply failed. And yeah, Thomas says it's a 63-watt power supply. Well, for some reason they cut the side off, one of the two sides off the floppy drive bay, and I'm kind of wondering if it's because they had a hard card or something in it that was physically conflicting with the plastic in the case. Thomas says the hard card would push it past a limit. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if they might have had the system running at an overloaded state for long enough that something failed in the power supply, so it can't regulate, and then they violently disassembled it to pull the hard card out because they needed the data. And then I'm wondering if it sat open for years because something caused the power supply wires to be faded. Oh, thank you, Justin Howard. I've got a $5 super chat. Justin Howard says, I come here for knowledge and comfort. You are a true old soul. These machines must live. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for the super chat. Yes, yeah, my goal with this is to get the 5155 that Dave sent me up and running, complete with a built-in monitor. And I really wanted an amber one. So while we wait for this to run, I do need to thank Tom Barber for sending me a green CRT, which I do have upstairs. I haven't brought. I didn't feel like bringing packages downstairs, so that's why we didn't have a wheel of regrets tonight. Although Tom sent me the CRT for the cost of shipping, so thank you, Tom Barber. If the amber CRT from Marketplace does work out, I have another thing I can use it for. Which if I well, I won't spoil that too soon. But yes, I do have a use for it. Also, in my box of Wheel of Regrets items, there's a white phosphor CRT too. Which, well, actually, I after I bought it, I thought I was going to put it in the 5155, and then I realized that would not look right at all. But then I realized one of my classic Macs has some burn in on the CRT, so if the CRT I bought off eBay works and has less burn in, I'll probably put it in one of my compact Macs with burn in. Because I think I've got one that's got some menu bar burn in. That won't go to waste either. All right. Oh, that's why I'm cold. Forgot to turn my turned it off when I went upstairs. There we go. Like, I mean, it's 55 degrees Fahrenheit down in the basement, so not as cold as it. Well, I mean, it's warming up outside, so getting warmer in the basement. Still, I was feeling the chill in the back of my neck from the heater not being on. Now, I only have the heater that's behind me on low tonight because I don't need it on high. Because 55 is tolerable, especially with a little bit of heat on behind me. At least tolerable for the length of a live stream. Why I wear a hoodie during the winter. Ugh. Mm. Yep, this is the CGA video card. That's the one that was in that lot of parts. So, yeah, this is the system board and CGA video card that was in the lot of parts. I'll have to figure out. Jesse says it's actually 65 in my basement currently. Ah, well, my basement is uninsulated, so I don't run heat down here all the time. I'll have to test the floppy controller and IO card. Thomas says it's 20C in my basement. Yeah, I only run heat when I'm down here and only in the vicinity of where I'm sitting because without insulation on the walls, it would, I mean, concrete has no insulation value on its own. I think if this house had been built like 5 to 10 years later than it was, then I suspect that they, or as little as 5 to 10 years later than it was built, then I suspect they might have actually insulated the walls of the basement. Because I do know that when I was looking at houses when I back in 2020, I was seeing a lot of new construction in 2020 that even the unfinished basements were at least insulated. This house was built in 2004. So if it had built sometime between 2010 and 2000, 2020, they would have probably started insulating basements. But this one was built in 2004, so they didn't insulate unfinished basements. And also, I guess we're not far enough north that they, because I know if you're far enough north, they'll actually build houses with, um, actually impressive. They'll actually pour concrete into foam molds, and the foam stays. It's like part of the foundation wall, and that gives it insulation. Yeah, Thomas says 2 inches of board foam and 4 of rock wool. Yeah. Jesse says we also have ductwork down here with a combination DL380 G9. Yeah. Someday I will insulate the walls, even if I don't do anything else. That's on my longer term list of things I would like to do. Even if for nothing else, insulate the walls so that it maybe keeps the basement more of a constant 55 degrees. Because the thing is, my basement's not completely underground. Otherwise, it probably would stay about 55 degrees year round. It's a walkout basement, so part of it's above ground. But John says, "Hey, color, no fair." Yeah, we had trouble with the power supply that was in the 5155 I picked up from Marketplace. And Bruce says, "At least you have a basement." Yes, yes, I do say that I am lucky to have a basement. In this area of the country, it seems like a lot of houses have basements, but that is not a guarantee. Yeah, Jesse says the root cellar stays between 40 and 50 degrees year round. Yep. Yeah, that would probably be, yeah, if it stayed 50 year round, that'd be nice in the summer. Yeah, Bruce says they don't do basements in Australia. Yes. Mike says, would you consider building rooms down in the basement, a studio, a workbench area, play area, etc.? This way you can do it in stages. Yeah, I've thought about building rooms in the basement, and I had thought about what could I do to maybe finish part of it so that I could at least have an insulated room down here. That thought had crossed my mind. That would potentially, yeah, that would potentially be cheaper. Potentially be cheaper than insulating the entire basement. Hmm. Justin Howard says I got out the TRS 80 Model 100 yesterday. Nice. He also says if you're in the Midwest, you need a basement. Yeah, actually, I'm in Virginia, and actually, there's a new development going in near me, and most of the houses don't have basements. Thomas says I've seen some of the 10,000 square foot houses with insulation under the foundation. Yes, it's another thing they're doing on new houses. Justin says I tried to fix some code on a Hangman game, but I'm not able to fix it. Oh, hi, Sylvestron. We have Sylvestron's Bits and Bytes. Uh, what did I miss? Well, I guess the summary is I picked up some parts from Facebook Marketplace. It was a sad looking 5155 that had the keyboard, the system board, CRT, CGA card, a third party floppy controller, and a third party IO card. And right now I'm testing that system board and the CGA card and the keyboard. The power supply in the one I picked up on Marketplace. Yeah, Thomas Armstrong says, good deal when you get your money back. Yes. Yes, for anyone that just joined when I went to go withdraw money from the ATM to go pick this up on Marketplace, ATM never opened the door to give me my money, and so I'm waiting for the credit union to, I guess, um, close the case out. Hopefully in my favor, because the money should still be in the ATM, because it never opened the door. Now, where in the ATM, I don't know, but it never opened the door, so Sylvestron says this different from the one you got from Dave. It was from Dave, but yes. Justin says I'm in Illinois. Ah. Mike says if you frame everything, then you have a layout, then finish each room as you're ready. Don't worry about it, Sylvestron. Yeah, the one Dave sent me did not have a keyboard, and the CRT had lost its vacuum. So I was going to have to do something about the CRT. I found this lot on Marketplace that was untested, but from what I could see on the pictures, it didn't look like the CRT had lost vacuum. I didn't see any spots on the front of it. And from our brief test in the case, we did see a filament. So I think the vacuum is still intact on the CRT. Jesse says those ATMs usually have camera footage on them. You should be fine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had at least 2 cameras pointed at me. So I guess I just have to wait for the credit union to probably have the ATM audited. Because I don't think they maintain it themselves. I think they have it. I think they have someone come maintain it. And I'm gathering that by the comment they made when I went into the branch to tell them that it had malfunctioned. Their first comment was, "Really? We just had someone working on it earlier today." Which, of course, yeah. I think that tells me that whatever they did to the machine, they forgot to do something before they finished. Sylvestron says, didn't work on it well enough, clearly. Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, I'm hoping that I will be able to combine this 5155 with the one Dave sent me to make one good 5155, because the chassis on the one I picked up on Marketplace looks like the Hulk. Hulk handled it. I don't know that I'd really be able to. Oh, plus, someone cut part of the plastic away to probably to install something in the case, and I'm presuming a hard card, which is I'm my theory is that's why the power supply in it doesn't work, is because the hard card was overloading it for some extended time and then it fails. Jesse says working on an ATM means absolutely nothing. Yeah. Sylvestron says door mechanism needs more lithium grease. Workers should watch more retro repair videos. Thomas says ATMs are a complex mix of junk hardware and software. maybe running on an IBM XT clone. Yeah, for all I know, yeah, it's the door. Yeah, it was acting like the door. I could tell it was trying to open the door, but it just sat there repeatedly trying to open the door. Which honestly, I'm surprised it didn't error out sooner, because surely it should have realized the door was not opening and canceled the transaction. I mean, in all reality, of course, that's me as a software engineer or a test engineer saying that it should have probably detected the malfunction and canceled the transaction. But instead, it sat there for several minutes trying to open the door and then finally complained at me for not getting the cash. Or it complained at me for taking too long to get the cash and told me, contact your bank. Yeah, yeah. Tells me that they need to redesign whoever made that ATM needs to redesign it and add a few more sensors to be able to tell there's an error condition with the door and cancel the transaction instead of complaining at me for taking too long to get the cash that I could not get to because the door did not open. Of course, that took too long to get it. And Jesse says, ATM at my zoo can only connect to 10 megabits half duplex. A D-Link switch died in the thing the day I upgraded the wireless at the zoo. Yeah. Jesse says slot machines are also the same combination of junk hardware and poorly designed software. Yeah, I've kind of always wondered about the actual quality of the hardware that goes in some slot machines. I've known people that have worked for companies that make casino gaming machines. And the one thing I do know is that they are prohibited for playing casino games. I think they are prohibited from doing any gambling at casinos. Probably to make sure they're to get rid of their excuse of, well, I was only playing blackjack if they're ever caught in the casino. Jesse says that is correct. Yes, I think the I've always presumed that is because that would prevent them from being able to take advantage of any vulnerabilities they might know about the machine to cheat, and to also keep them from trying to claim they were only playing blackjack when they were actually on the casino floor playing slot machines they worked on. I'm sure that latter part was because someone probably tried claiming they were only playing blackjack at the cards table and they were playing slots at one of their own company's machines. Yes. All right. Good night, Justin. That Bruce says we call them poker machines or pokies here. Ah, cool to know what things are called in various places. Jesse says I couldn't touch progressives at any casino. I couldn't gamble in any capacity at the one I worked at. Okay, maybe the maybe some gaming machine companies have stricter rules to keep people from trying to break them. And but yeah, Jesse says we had too much access. Yeah, exactly. Thomas says, is that the same as having the diagnostic USB stick? Yeah. Jesse says contractors have much stricter rules. Yes. Yes. They since they are the company that making the gaming machines themselves, that's probably why they had stricter rules, because they just don't want you caught anywhere, any on the gaming floor of any casino, because it's their reputation on the line. So it always made me wonder how they would be able to attend, say, the Microsoft Developer Network conference in Las Vegas, because don't you have to walk through the casino floor to go check into your hotel? I mean, maybe not. Maybe that's a misconception on my part. Maybe the check-in is, you don't have to walk through the casino floor, because that would also pose a problem of, well, what if you're a family that's just in Vegas to vacation and see attractions? How would you walk your kids through the casino floor to check into your hotel? So maybe check-in isn't through the casino floor. Thomas Armstrong says yes, past all the dancers. Yeah, Jesse says it's not worth that $1 million fine. Yep, exactly. Yep. Sylvester says we have pokies in just about every pub and club within New South Wales. I think the recent stats were one machine per 81 people statewide. Wow. I've seen those like tabletop machines at like bars around here, but not recently. There's a restaurant I like to eat at, and they had one at their bar for I don't know how long, but last time I was there, I don't remember seeing it. Of course, then again, I'm usually on the dining side, but occasionally with when you're with a group of people, you get a table. You're sometimes easier to get a table on the bar side, and well, sometimes you're with a group and they want to go sit at the bar. But I don't remember seeing it last time. Jesse says you can cross, just don't gamble. And Thomas says I live in a religious community. We have a bingo hall. Yeah, I don't know that there's any dedicated bingo halls around here. However, there are a lot of volunteer fire departments that have large multi-purpose rooms that also hold bingo periodically. Bruce says, I enjoy bingo as long as I can get blind drunk while playing. Yeah, I don't get the appeal of bingo. It's just like one of those, not really that appealing to me. Thomas says, bingo is dangerous if you win the pool from the old ladies. Yeah. Like one of those, I just don't get it type things. Oh, there we go. We've tested all the base memory. Jesse says bingo is a staple for the tribal elders. Thomas says our fire halls are all getting the doors fixed because of the earthquakes recently. Mike says hospitality room in the church converts to a full service casino on Saturday nights. Hmm. All right. Let's see here. What do we want to test next? System board. Okay, that's cool. We got good RAM. We have a good floating point unit. Probably I mean, the system board's probably good. Looks like the system board is going to just work. All right. I was going to run the. Is there a keyboard test? All right. Press each key. All right. Type any key 3 times to move on. All right. So far, so good. Press down a single key until it begins to repeat. All right. And the keyboard works. All right. Let's run. Just going to run a. Oh, quick benchmark here. Good way to just double check the floating point units working. There we go. CPU speed, 1 times the IBM PCXT. No surprise there. And math speed is 17 times the IBM PCXT. Thomas says I need to try the IO card with the software. Well, the only thing I can test on the IO card is the serial port that's on board because I do not have the header cables for the parallel port or the second serial port. Or I should rephrase it. I'm going to have to check the pinout for the parallel port on it because I, given the fact that it has a 26 pin serial port header, I am not going to assume that it's using a standard pinout. I want to double check that before I try hooking things up to it. But we can put the card in. I mean, we can put the floppy controller in too, I guess, although all right. Let me see if I can spot where I put my loop back plugs. All right, I guess I can plug in a standard parallel header, but I don't have a serial header for it because it's a 26 pin serial header. I don't have one of those. Well, if I can find a parallel header cable. Oh, the other problem. Oh, well, the other problem is, Thomas, I just realized there's no UART on the second serial port. So actually, I can't. There's nothing to test. Let me find the parallel header. Well, actually, the thing is, though, I don't know which is the parallel port on the board. That's the other problem. Partly because I jammed the card in, and I'm going to have to still look for. All right. All right. I gotta look the on the retro web for the card because I don't remember which is the parallel header. Parallel port is J2. All right, let me find the loopback plugs and a parallel header. All right, found the serial port loop back. Oh, hold on. There we go. All right, still looking for a parallel header, but at least I can start check it to check the serial port. Oh, cool. Actually, um, Thomas, it's socketed. I think the second serial port was optional. All right. Actually, I think this is where I'm going to call the stream draw the stream to a close tonight. That's the card there. So there's sockets, but I don't know that anything was ever installed there. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm recovering from what quite possibly was the flu, and I am starting to feel like I have exceeded my live streaming capabilities for tonight. So, yeah, as Thomas says, the 1488 and the 1489 are out too. Yeah, it kind of tells me that there was never one installed in the first place. So, anyways, all right, I'm going to draw the stream to a close. I have exceeded my live streaming capabilities for tonight. I am recovering from, as I said, what quite possibly was the flu. So, anyways, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight to see me test these marketplace parts. Oh, hi, Salvage Geek. Welcome. And Sylvestron says, I'm literally down with stupid COVID right now. Like, what is this, 2020? Yeah, the flu is going around the office right now. Apparently it was my turn to get it. So, anyways, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me tonight. Don't forget to smash that like button if you like it when I get these old systems up and running. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. I'm usually live streaming every Tuesday and Thursday evening, and hopefully next week I will be back to my usual schedule. So anyways, yes, thanks, Sylvestron. You get rest too and get to recuperating. Um, anyways, let's see here. Tuesday, I'm going to be looking at StyleWriter printers for Marcintosh. And Thursday, I think I'm going to start recapping a 2SI that I have also for Marcintosh. So, anyways, yeah, you want to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live with the exciting Marcintosh live streams. And also, I guess the VCF East is a month away. and I am exhibiting. So maybe I'll see some of you there. But anyways, with that, I am going to wish you all a great rest of your day. And I will hope to see you here next time. Take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.